Happy Thursday, everybody.
Hello. Hello. Happy Thursday.
Today's the day.
Yeah. And it's actually Thursday, double points, right?
That's right. I got it right this time.
Yeah.
This is the day that we were telling everybody about on the last show that they wanted to tune in for. You got some important stuff coming out today. This is great.
Yeah. And I actually scheduled it ahead of time. So hopefully people had time to like register it on LinkedIn and the socials, and hopefully I did a little bit better this time pre-scheduling this one. So hopefully you appreciated that. And I just turned on my lights. If you saw me flash,
it's like lightning struck. We're bald,
everything's fine
Nick.
in the Coon household. I just turned on my lights so you can see a huge glare off my forehead.
Right, we're bald. So, you can't do that sudden light thing, man. People are going to be seeing spots for 15 minutes.
Well, think about the 3 lights I'm seeing right now. I can't see anything. But yeah, what do we? How are you doing, Nikki? Let's do a little pre-show banter. I just got off a webinar with our guests, so I my brain is a little, a very busy day back to back. So, do you have any banter to give my brain a rest for a minute?
Well, I mean,
what's going on with you? What's new?
This is an important day. I mean, you guys got some important stuff that we're going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. Real quick, I will say, DevRel for Coder. Coder is going through a rebrand. We've got a launch coming up, so. Make sure you take a look at my LinkedIn, take a look at that. But we've got new logos. We got a new house, same team. Mm-hmm. Same, we're expanding the mission, things that we talk about on this show all the time with AI, but that's going to be something important. But man, I am buzzing I'm sitting here bouncing my leg. I'm buzzing with excitement. We did a lead up yesterday or last Thursday about everybody's got to tune in. We got important stuff to talk about.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. So, today we're going to celebrate the official launch of Tanzu Platform 10.2. Nice. And with that, we have a special guest. We'll bring him on now, if I can click the buttons. Hey, Keith. Thanks for watching. Keith. Hey, Darin. Welcome to the show. You're new. First time caller, long time listener, I hear.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I try to follow and watch anytime I can. It's hard because we're bouncing between meetings all day long, so you don't always have that opportunity to jump on and tune in. In fairness, I'm also newer to the Cloud Foundry community and that side of things too. My background, I spent over 10 years as a customer, spent 5 years as a partner. I started with all the traditional VMware stuff, all the, VMs and, vSphere and vSAN and all that fun stuff. And then got a little bit into Kubernetes. And then, I've only been really getting into Cloud Foundry in the course of the last 6 months. And so for me, I've really just I'm trying to take it in everywhere I can. And Cloud Foundry Weekly is one of the best places to do it.
All right. Well, that begs the question, right? Yeah. So we haven't got to do this in a while because we've gotten old people coming back on, people that have been on the show quite a few.
Yep.
2 questions I've got for you. First, now that you're getting into Cloud Foundry, go ahead, tell us how much you love it, right? Tell us how awesome it is. Yep. And 2, all right, you're just getting into it. So what's your first Cloud Foundry? What's your first CF push or Cloud Foundry experience?
Yeah, so I would say the first Cloud Foundry experience has probably been Tanzu Academy. Actually that whole kind of demo experience, but also kind of just walking you through what it's like as a developer to push an application in Cloud Foundry, to bind to a database, to do all of the things that it takes a little bit more work to do in some other tools. And it's just, it just does it all. And so my first CF push experience, probably in the Tanzu Academy. I think the name of it, and I can drop it here too, but the name of it is, where's it at? There it is. Using VMware Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry. That was probably the first CF push experience. And then I was like, I poked Nick because it's there's the privilege of knowing Nick Kuhn. So I poked Nick and I'm like, hey, how do I get access to Kuhn Labs so that I can start playing with stuff too? And so Nick's been awesome from that standpoint. We've I've started doing some CF pushes in there as well, and started to play with some different GitHub projects along the way. And it's been cool. It's been a lot of fun.
I don't want to say welcome to the party being a decade late, but welcome to the party, my friend.
Hey, it's never too late to show up, right?
Late.
Never too late to show up.
That's right. That's right. And we're seeing this reemergence, right? Cloud Foundry's coming back to the forefront. People are starting to discover that there's an easier way. So, Darin, I'm just going to take you as proof positive of that.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, really, at the end of the day, there's been some obviously different things along the way. We all know kind of a lot of the story, but the innovation's happening. The investments are there. And I think some of our news over the course of this week has kind of shown that. Like, there's some good stuff packed into Tanzu Platform 10.2, and Nick and I just jumped off of the rather packed webinar. Like, I mean, it was just full of just lots and lots of content that, all new features and capabilities and stuff to really accelerate value and really put the hands back in, or I should say, put the power back into the hands of developers from that standpoint, and platform engineers. I can't leave them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one, because I think, I come from the platform engineering background. Nick, you do too. I have a hard time. I believe developers are the most important. This is the easiest way to get your code into production. But you're right. We can't forget those platform engineers. I mean, this is also, it just runs. This is a platform that once you get it up and you get it dialed in, that's why we don't hear much about it, because it's never breaking. It's never in the news as, hey, company A went down because Cloud Foundry failed. No, that's never happened.
Right.
Right. So
yeah. It just runs. Going back to our SAP friends and their awesome t-shirts.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, I'm going to bow out of this one because y'all have got some exciting announcements. So I'm just going to play the guy on the side that comes in and asks questions as y'all start making announcements here.
Yeah, I think you're really, really well equipped to ask questions and learn about what we're delivering, if that makes sense. I guess, first and foremost, do you want to do slides, Darin? How do you feel? I don't know. We just did a bunch of slides. I'm kind of like,
I don't know. I'm kind of slide it out. To a degree. Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, we can kind of talk through, some of what we talked through. I mean, so one of the big things right out of the gate is, we talk about long-term support releases. I think most customers who are running Cloud Foundry are running on an LTS release. That probably, was a TAS 4, TAS 4 environment today. It could be, they could be running TAS 6. Hopefully they're running TAS 6, because that's actually the first kind of announcement is TAS 4, Tanzu Application Service 4 is actually going end of global support at the end of July. So we're like almost at that 30-day window of like, hey, if you haven't started planning yet, it's probably time to start doing so.
Right.
Please upgrade. Please. Right. Come on, guys. Seriously. Like, come on.
Getting to 6 is really that first big hurdle, I think, for so many customers. And I mean, and obviously, I mean, for customers that are coming from 4, there's lots of things that they're getting in 6 that they're like, oh wow, we can do this. Like, simple stuff, or I should say simple stuff that, TAS 6 customers have been experiencing for a while. But, things like small footprint, environments, and being able to do a lot more for, if I'm standing up new environment in another site, simple things like that, I think is going to be key to really helping start accelerating that value.
All right. Well, let me ask my first hard question. First hard question is, TAS had the release cadence of 2, 4, 6, right? And now we're going to 10.2. I think a lot of people really got kind of used to that original cadence. We knew that the long-term support was going to be an even number. We knew that the short-term support was going to be an odd. Now you're moving to this dot release. What does that mean for the customers and people that are looking into it? And, why the change?
I'm bringing up a visual guide here too, by the way.
Yeah.
So hold on.
Yeah, that's probably helpful. Yeah. So I mean, I'm with you. And obviously, I mean, neither Nick nor I can probably answer all the questions as to, why the change in the versions and from a numbering perspective. I mean, I think the intention will still be to hopefully align to even numbers moving forward, but maybe not necessarily dot zeros. Obviously, I mean, I think for many customers that have followed, the Tanzu story, obviously there was this big effort to really kind of bring the Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry stories together, at least from a consistency standpoint in terms of how they're consuming a platform. And that has changed a little bit over the course of the beginning of this year. The VMware Cloud Foundation division has kind of taken on all of the Kubernetes pieces now. And really, actually, I think that's actually better because, when you think about really what Kubernetes is, it's an infrastructure orchestration tool. It's not really meant to be a complete, platform as a service solution on its own, right? It needs a lot of other pieces brought together, bolted together, plumbed together to really deliver something like that. And while we tried to do that, we really felt like as an organization, it probably makes more sense to be part of their division, their story. And so for us, that's great, because that means that we now get to focus on what we've done well for, over a decade now, which is, delivering a platform as a service story with Cloud Foundry, and not only doing it, in a way that's familiar, but doing it in a way that we know is driving value in customers today.
I think that's huge. I mean, this is something, I know there was a lot of, I don't want to say upset, but there are a lot of people talking about the Kubernetes side going to VCF. From my personal standpoint, and from that, if I look at this because of, from the eyes of a customer, this is a good thing in my eyes, because, they've always said Kubernetes is a great platform to build platforms, but it wasn't a platform in and of its own, in my opinion.
Right.
And this move really allows Tanzu to kind of get back to its core and say, this is what's important, right? We've got a platform that people have loved and managed. And, you had a lot of customers, you had a lot of people saying, where's the future of Cloud Foundry, and kind of getting worried about that. This is showing that VMware is actually going back. They're putting their focus on something that really works, that customer loves. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wouldn't let necessarily the numbering get out of whack. And if we look at there's kind of an internal joke that we see, and Keith kind of put it in chat of like, why 10? Because 10 is bigger than 9. But if you don't get what that means, what released last week either. But the numbering scheme is it's just numbers, but the full long-term support release, the LTST track, when we announced way back when now, that remains, and that cadence is the same. So and we see those big upgrades. If you're still hanging out in 4, come man, we really need you to upgrade. Like we don't want to support old versions. Nobody wants to support old versions. Let's get you to 6, and get you back on a supported version, that type of thing. So
because 10.8.9.
Yeah, or because 10.8.9. Yeah, I mean Keith's just full of jokes today, so I got nothing here, right? That just naming and numbering things can be hard sometimes. Yeah. But hey, whatever.
Right. So before we go on to the next announcement, are you going to try to where 10.4 will be the next LTS, or you can't really, there's no guarantees there?
I have no idea what the next number is going to be.
Yeah, I can't confirm for certain, but that is the rumor that I continue to hear, is that 10.4 should be the next LTS release. So it should maintain even numbers.
Feels like a congressional hearing. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I
could tell you, but we'd have to kill you.
Yeah, Darin probably has more info than me. I'm guessing it's going to be like 20. I don't know. I'm just kidding. We'll just go up by 10 every increment, right? Yeah, right, let's go crazy, right?
Yeah.
And the last question on this, right? There was a thing, TAS, PCF to TAS to Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry. Are there any more name changes coming?
It's just Tanzu Platform now. It's just Tanzu Platform.
I think that makes things a lot easier.
It makes it a lot easier. And yeah, I mean, whether it's, whether you knew it as PCF or, Pivotal Cloud Foundry, whether you knew it as TAS or Tanzu Application Service, whether you knew it as Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry or TPCF,
right.
It's still the same great legacy that continues on with even more innovation, even more investment. And so that's really the goal at the end of the day.
Yep. You are costing me a fortune in stickers.
I was like, I need a new sticker, but I don't know how, I got to figure out how I'm going to pull that one out.
We just had that conversation yesterday.
I will never get rid of the little T PCF stickers. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. So we had, so in the stores, in the sticker warehouse here at Cloud Foundry Weekly, we do still have some of the I Love TAS. I found like a bunch that I must have forgotten about. And I was like, oh, okay. I heart TPCF at low quantity, very low. We got a lot of stickers. CF Weekly, our main kind of little logo at the top of the right, and Nikki and I's faces. So I guess if you want stickers, join the Slack and reach out, and we'll mail you stickers. And you can be cool and rock our. We don't have any other official swag other than stickers, but
maybe someday.
Whatever. Yeah, one day, right? Maybe we'll have some kind of like crazy, Captain Whisker Paws printed out as our mascot, but that seems expensive. So anyway,
maybe get some little bitty baby, subscribing, like pillows.
Where do I see the petition to restrict the pivotal naming? Oh, John, don't get me in trouble. But yes, yeah. Anyway, that's a valid point. So let's see what's next on the docket here, Darin. So we talked about.
There's probably some stuff we can skip over from a content perspective and kind of jump into some of the new stuff. We talked a little bit about Upgrade Planner. Just because it is like upgrades in general, you should always have a plan going into them. I can't emphasize that enough. Don't just attempt to upgrade willy-nilly and go, I think I know this.
Don't Leroy Jenkins your task upgrades.
Exactly.
Okay?
A great callback.
My changes. What's up? Oh, I know. Yeah.
But pull down your diagnostic report, drop it into the upgrade planner, and let the upgrade planner walk you through, hey, what are the stages, what are the phases that I really need to plan for this upgrade in? And can't emphasize enough, like it is there as a tool to be a resource to make your life easier and to make sure you do understand, hey, are there any gotchas or anything like that along the way? And just giving you that prescriptive guidance. So I think that's key. But yeah, as you jump forward some more, Nick, it's, as we get into some of the 10.2 stuff, and the first slide here we have is just, task 6. But as we get into some of the 10.2 stuff, there is some really great, enhancements that come with this. And Nick's I think it's going to be more fun to demo some of these than probably to talk through them. One of the first ones out of the gate, and I think we actually have a slide on it specifically, is just like Tanzu Hub was kind of this really cool idea from a SaaS perspective when it was delivered via SaaS of, hey, giving me the ability to bring multiple foundations under one view and giving me the ability to, maybe diagnose different things that are happening and, view my logs centrally and things like that. And we're not delivering it via SaaS anymore, but it's now it's now delivered, in your environment. And the cool part here too is it's now just deployable from an Opsman tile, which is the way it should be.
You made me so happy.
Yeah.
I think we made a lot of people happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Ryan Baker if you're watching.
Yeah, dude, Ryan Baker.
He did a lot of work on that. So thank you, Ryan.
And very minimal configuration inputs too. Like, I mean, we're talking like, I think it's like a host name, a certificate, and if you want to use Tanzu Intelligent Assist, you need to provide a license key. And aside from that, that's pretty much it. That's all you need to provide as part of it. So some really cool things from a hub perspective, and Nick, you can walk through hub then too.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things here as well. So, one of the big things is, we always have a need to push new capabilities to developers. And one of the ways we do that is through, they're leveraging the CLI in many cases. And so actually being able to deliver automatic CLI updates and do it in a prescriptive nature for, platform engineers can actually say, hey, I'm going to push this version, and it gets pushed out to all of the developers and auto updates that. That's a big deal because you want to make sure that they have access to the latest commands. Nick, you were even talking earlier today. Like,
I was like in one of my demos, I was trying to recreate it in the Canary demos. I was like, why is the command not working? I was like, I didn't do the auto update yet. My CLI is old, so I had to update my CLI. So that's really kind of the core feature there is that get your CLI to auto update so that your developers can just get those new features that come out via the CLI. Not a lot of people think to like, you know what, did I update that CLI that I installed 3 years ago? People forget about it, right? It just either works or doesn't work, that type of thing, right? So
I remember back in my time, that was a huge part of the support tickets coming through. They were seeing odd behaviors, hey, this used to work, now it's not working. And the answer was update your CLI, and you'll see that come back around. So I think that's huge. There's a lot of stuff to go through here, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But man, I think that Darin's kind of burying some leads here and kind of going over some stuff. We'll come back to it because I want y'all to be able to get through all your updates. But I've got questions, I've got comments.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the Canary side, like, and Nick was talking about, he was playing with a lot of it this morning. There's a lot of enhancements, just little things here and there. The configurable step weights, the HTTP headers, the CF revision, like there's a lot of things here that like you start to like dig into it, and then you're like, oh wow, no, this actually does have some really meaningful impact for
Mhm.
customers. It's stuff they've been waiting on for a long time to make their life a whole lot easier. And so yeah, there's some really big stuff here. Nick, I think there's like one more slide that talks about some of the additional improvements for like 10.2 as a whole. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Hub already, but you've got multi-foundation visibility, and giving you, the ability to do all of that now, but from from your own environment. There's also a whole bunch of enhancements from a capacity visibility standpoint. And so this is kind of cool because we're introducing a couple of different pieces to this. So there's one, you can do some tagging of foundations. So if you've got specific foundations that you may have earmarked for, whether it's test dev or maybe it's hey, this foundation is really built for PCI based workloads or something like that. Like you can tag your foundations accordingly, and then begin to filter for that. So you can start to go, okay, well, from a capacity standpoint, if I want to see how much capacity is left in this foundation, or for, a workload that's getting ready to be deployed, I can very easily do that and kind of sort and kind of see where does this need to go. But more than that, I think the bigger one, and I think this sets up some more things for the future, but actually being able to group foundations together. So if you have, groups of foundations that are, hey, I've got a couple of foundations specifically for web-based apps, and I want to be able to group those foundations together, I can easily do that. And then same thing, I can kind of go and look at it from a capacity perspective today. But I think you can kind of see where that could be going in the future when you look at, like, again, making better decisions about where are these apps being deployed? How easy is it for a developer to, rather than having to pick the foundation that they may be looking to deploy to just, hey, I want to go to this logical space instead, or this logical group instead. So I think there's some things that this really sets up for the future that I think will be really exciting. And I mean, I don't even know all the places that product management wants to take this. I'm just kind of looking at it and going, okay, there's some logical things. I want to know more about the things that I'm not thinking about too.
Right. Well, I mean, first thing that comes to mind, especially when you start thinking about those logical groupings, is the small form factor, the small footprint, right? If we've talked about this a lot. We talked about it with Mark Fines and others about what the potential is for small footprint foundations, the ability to group those foundations, small footprint foundations, and deploy to them in that way. That's huge. That would be huge. Yeah. And then, when we start looking at this, because I see something in there, which I'm sure, Nick's going to talk about more, but Hub and AI, those are the two biggest things I've seen come through, TPCF in a long, Tanzu Platform now in a long time. These are really big features. And, something like multi-foundation view, that's something that customers have been asking about for a long, long time. Seeing that come to fruition, that's awesome. I mean, that is something that I think is, to use a coined term, that's going to be game changing for a lot of these platform engineers and developers out there.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it also goes further than that too. I mean, when you think about even things like governance and compliance, so many organizations are struggling to come up with the data to show that, hey, we can meet specific compliance policies and different things like that. Some of the CVE reporting that's now being built into it, and there's more things planned for that for the future as well, that I think really will bring a lot more value just in terms of, how we even think about the things that we're on the hook for, right? I mean, platform engineering teams are still on the hook for, hey, I've got to show when there's a CVE that has been named, and I'm shown that I'm exposed to it. How am I proving that, hey, this has been patched, that this doesn't necessarily apply to me anymore? And so, and being able to do that in a rolled up manner, where it's easy to report upon, and I can basically take that report and hand it over to, the audit teams and say, hey, here's what's been applied. That's going to make life a whole lot easier from that standpoint too.
Now, does that extend down to the application itself, or is that at the platform level when we're talking about CVEs and we're talking about mitigation?
Yeah, so I don't remember all of the specifics. I know that at the platform level for sure, and we can do it down to the actual application stack within the build pack that was used. But going down deeper than that, Nick, do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things within telemetry itself, getting enhanced and that CVE reporting there. So within, like, if you're a subscriber to the telemetry service, there's going to be a lot of like enhancements in that space, and I think going forward we'll start to see that kind of percolate down in the hub zone, so to speak, or in the hub area. But I'm not quite sure what some of the timelines there are. So fall back to our disclaimer here. Anything we say on CF Weekly is completely totally changed, right? So anyway, yeah,
because when we go back and you look at like when Log4j, when that happened, right? Most customers were able to mitigate that from the platform level.
Right.
Well, I'm throwing out just false numbers here, but like 80% of all customers were able to mitigate Log4j at the platform level. But you still had some of those applications that were, older Java or something to that effect that would still have to have some sort of a small patch done to them because they weren't upgrading. So, I think something like that, and I'm excited to see, the platform level, 100% awesome. When it gets to dig down into the application level, so those engineers can actually be proactive and reach out to the developers and say, hey, something's going on here. You're going to want to take a look at that I can't solve from the platform level. That would be huge.
Right.
I'm seeing what's going on here. All right. So,
by the way, I love the new skin. Love it.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's like tiny. I need to zoom in a little bit here and hopefully not blow it up. So we're just driving, or this is going to be I think the last time we drove around the platform with Hub was when Jacob Newton was on the show, and it was in the SaaS format here. But we're even seeing here some of these runtime situations here within the app. I'm looking at one of these apps I deployed here. It's a Spring app, and we can kind of see like, hey, what version, Java version, Spring. I don't know if you could see that in the bottom right.
Yep.
I'll zoom maybe a little. Maybe it's too much. Is that too zoom? Now it's kind of like crazy.
Yeah, I think it was better there.
Yeah. So and you can even download the SBOM directly here out of Hub. So
nice.
I don't really know. I mean, we'll have to get DMZ back on the show to really kind of and maybe even V Corbs to like help me understand really. Like I hear SBOM a lot. I'm like, yeah. Security stuff. I've never really done anything myself done with an SBOM, but I hear it's all the rage, and like you put it in the scanner thing, and like magic happens. I don't know. No, I'm being a little facetious here, but I think that's something of useful here as well, especially from a security perspective. And I think there's a lot of stuff planned kind of going forward as well. But well,
that takes a big chunk off. I mean, a lot of customers are asking for, do you have SBOM support? You're fulfilling that. Yes, you can get your SBOM. Now the big question is, okay, we've got SBOMs. What do we do with them? I think that's going to be an iterative approach. And, Tanzu's not the only company that's kind of attacking that problem. We can get SBOMs, but what do they mean to customers? And I don't think a lot of customers know right now what that actually means. So the simple fact that they can get those, that's going to put them ahead and in the running for, okay, now we've got a process to where we can really evaluate those SBOMs and see what they mean to us. So, checking off that first step, again, that's a big step. That's a step forward. It's progress. It's not perfection, but that's not what we should be looking for.
Right.
Right here. I am, as we're doing that here, I kind of jumped into Hub, but I like, so if you followed us for our webinar, I kind of did the full canned Hub demo here, but I didn't have really time to kind of go behind the scenes in OpsMan. So this is our behind the scenes view of the webinar. If you just watched it. So I'll do a little something different if you're watching from our previous show here. So let's see here. So I have my OpsMan, right? So we have the Hub. We were talking. Let's actually dive into the Hub tile here a little bit. We got our 10.2 Hub tile. Let's load it up. We can see how I'll simplify the process and how easy it is to go here. So let's host name here. So
boy,
Nikki,
Keith is he is on target today.
On fire today.
SBOM.
Bomb.
Yeah. So sorry, Keith. We should have had you on the show. I thought it was gonna be too late for you here, but because they're kind of late.
I say we just signed him up to do a Caroline remake with Tanzu in it with SBOM bum.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what you get for not being on the show and making jokes, Keith.
Yeah. All right. So starting out. So I guess one thing to note, if you wanted to like spin up a new OpsMan, and or like if you have a platform automation OpsMan, you could drop Hub there because it's like this centralized view, right? You may not want to. It wouldn't really make sense to run a Hub on every foundation, right? Because it's supposed to be the Hub, right? So kind of defeat the purpose, right? I've got 14 hubs and 14 foundations.
Words have meaning. Hub means
yes.
one place.
We try to be simple. I think the name's pretty clear. And then we'll go crazy and go like the Azure networking model. We'll make hub, and the foundations will be spokes, and we'll have hub spoke foundation arc. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, host name. So you need to bring a host name, like where to go to the hub, and that's usually like a DNS entry. You can use DNS entry manual and then wire it up to some controller VMs behind the scenes, or you could get a load balancer. Either way, that will get you there. You need some kind of a DNS entry to get to the hub, and you can bring a cert, or you can generate a self-signed cert. Probably want to bring your cert, unless you want cert warnings all the time. So that's pretty simple there. And then I'll go to, we'll go and see, let's just go there now. If we look in the resource config, in order to set that up, I believe, and Keith, correct me if I'm wrong here, it's, I should have gone on the stats page. What am I doing? The control plane nodes are what you want to be in the load balancer. So you're going to have your like hub.whatever.com DNS entry, IP address. And then if you want, I used Avi to wire this up to make a pretty simple load balancer endpoint, and then point to those 3 control nodes, and then, magic happens. So nothing too crazy there, but that's something you want to do to configure hub as well to get that ingress into your hub here. And then we have a lot of other different VMs here. So we're doing logging and metric monitoring stuff. So you see logs and metrics. So we'll have some way to collect that. There's a registry, a blob store, all these different things. And this thing's architected to collect a lot of info and do a lot of things here. So you'll kind of see a lot of things around like the Kafka messaging, logging. Like if you think about what Hub's doing, it kind of makes sense to have some of these type of things. So that's kind of what it looks like behind the scenes here. We'll go back to settings.
Well, let me pause you there for a second.
Yeah.
So with the log and metric storage, is that pulling it out of the foundations and into the hub, or you still have the log and metrics in each foundation that feeds into the hub?
Great question. We can dive into the Tanzu the TPCF tile and look at that. But yes, so you'll deploy a hub somewhere, right? Doesn't really matter where, whatever suits your fancy, and then you deploy what you call Tanzu Foundation connector tiles on whatever foundation that you want to be part of the hub, right? So I've done a one shop, everything in one box type of situation here. So there's a hub and a connector, and actually have another foundation that just has the connector on it here. So, but if we look at, we'll go there in a second here, but we'll go from here. So, and then just the other things too. If you want to wire up an identity provider, Hub has its own kind of identity structure. So you can use the internal user store, and you'll get like an admin account to use. Or if you want to wire it up to your like LDAP or OIDC provider, you can do that as well. And I did not configure this, so I've disabled Tanzu Intelligent Assist on this foundation. I thought about trying. I was going to try the local LLM because I'm a big fan of the local LLMs. If you watched the show before, but I didn't have time to test it yet this morning, and I was a little nervous implementing such a change before multiple demos, so I left it disabled. But if you want, a lot of folks are using the SaaS Intelligence Hub via Tanzu, and if you do have
Did we lose Nick?
I think so. I heard some buzzing, and then he went away.
Yeah,
I thought it was just me for a second.
Yeah, no, I thought it was me too. Yep.
Nope. John just confirmed. Nick, you're not working.
Yep.
So we're waiting for Nick to come back. This is, what can you tell me, Darin, about this? Because this is something, I'm guessing this is something that we had talked to Corby about in an earlier show with Tanzu and, Intelligent Assist. But this is bringing AI into Tanzu to help you with Tanzu tasks?
Exactly. Yep. So it's there to really help, ask it plain language, in plain language, ask it for help doing specific things within Hub. And so revealing specific information, surfacing some of those things specifically, that's really the goal at the end of the day is, make it easier to use, and give people the ability, just like they would with ChatGPT or other things, the ability to bring, again, common tasks in a plain language way, because, not everybody, especially if you're a newer platform engineer and you're coming into a Tanzu platform environment, we want to make it really simple and straightforward to consume, not just Hub, or not just the platform overall, but really be able to surface all of the data, all of the common tasks and things like that, as well as making suggestions and recommendations. And so it's going to provide some of that over the time too. Are you back, Nick, or what happened?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
I had to fail over. I lost my main mic. I had a flash of like my main monitor dropped for a second, so I don't know if something happened with my hub. But
I told you it was that earlier flash off the forehead when you turned your mic on.
Yeah,
Hide your mic.
I don't know if I had a failover event of a cutting over to the generator here, the data center here. I don't know what's going on, but I don't hear a bunch of UPSs screaming at me right now. That would be my first sign of trouble. So I'm going off the old headset mic here, and the fancy Yeti is getting decommissioned for the rest of the show. So.
All right.
Well, and one more question on the Intelligent Assist. Is this bringing RAG for the documentation in? Is that one of the things it's doing, or is it what are we doing with Intelligent Assist?
Behind the scenes, that's a great question. So I know there's multiple models involved in here, and there's definitely some RAG happening behind the scenes. I think this is future facing talk of like where Nick wants to see this go, right? Yep. Where I was like, hey, we have this Gen AI tile. I want to see this plug into the Gen AI tile, and Nick have a little bit more control of what the local LLM option is right now. So
you're going exactly where my brain is, but that was something. Not only I'm guessing, Nick, before your audio quit on you, this was something that we had talked to Corby about being able to do some tasks with AI within the foundation itself. But there was also the question of, is this going to make it a little bit easier to use conversational language to go in and dig through the docs and figure out things that you might need to do instead of trying to go through all those multiple pages.
And then so we have this page because I did not enable Tanzu Intelligent Assist on this foundation yet. But this is what you see if it's disabled, and you say like, how do I attach a CF foundation as a data source to Tanzu Platform? And then you're kind of like, you're kind of getting this type of view here. Because we're on CF Weekly, and I like to YOLO a lot here, so I'm going to Leroy Jenkins this if I can get back to my ops manager. And we're going to try to enable it live. I don't know if it's going to deploy.
Well, that'll be fun.
But hey, why not? Let's go ahead. I'm going to do a selected deploy. I've checked enable local LLM just because I'm curious here. I don't like using SaaS stuff. So, what tile is this? Oh, it's Hub. It's the first one. Okay. So we can keep talking about that apply changes, cooks. Who knows? The demo gods have not been on my favor today so far. So we'll see what happens.
Well, and this leads me back to that original question about seeing the logs and metrics. If that's taking it off the foundation and putting it on Hub, that's going to speed up upgrades to foundations, right? If you're not fully doing that, it's going to make that a lot simpler.
Yeah.
And I did notice that was something that was within your topic list, is you're speeding up some of the upgrades and applies.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's compiled CPIs shipping as part of the program. So
awesome.
You shouldn't have to do it could, if you look at a Bosch compilation, sometimes there's a lot of things happening, and anytime they can use a precompiled CPI or precompiled bit, they don't have to run that compilation job every time, or they can only run it if they has to make a change or something. So a lot, again, constantly streamlining this. Again, if you have, for some reason you're still on 4, you're going to get a lot of speed upgrades too, because a lot of that's happened like on the OpsMan 3.0 line. Now we're on 3.1. A lot of great OpsMan stuff has happened. Check it out. And this is I don't even know. This is an older feature, but I was just talking to the customer the other day. They did not know yet. They were like describing a feature like, I really wish if the VMs were labeled in a way that I can make sense of it in vCenter. And I was like, oh, hello, let's go. I want to talk about human readable VM names here.
One step ahead of you, Mr. Customer.
Yes, you should. If you don't know what this is, you should enable this. It's in your Bosch director config on the first tab. Yep. Human readable VM names. It's gonna make your life a little bit easier, especially when you're in the vSphere space and you got multiple foundations in the same vCenter, and you might have thousands of these like VM-GUID VMs, and you're like, that's a lot. check this out. You'll like it. You'll like the way it looks after, I guarantee.
It'll make your VI admins a whole lot happier too.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
We have no idea what these VMs are. Like, don't worry about it. Well, now we do. So,
and for those of you that are listening to this as an audio only podcast, you're not watching the video. What Nick's doing right here is he's actually doing and apply changes. And I can tell you just from experience, watching some of those steps fly through, I can already see where we're getting speed ups because, some of those steps may take 15 or 20 minutes in the old version.
yeah.
We went straight to installing Hub, right? We skipped through some of the CPI steps that usually take 10 to 15 minutes in the old versions. You can't see that if you're just listening to audio, but you'll have to take my word for it. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, and we're already installing the TIA VM, so let's see if I can get into my vCenter, and we'll watch it live. Maybe we'll show a little human readable VM names. Maybe not. Maybe my vCenter will crash. Who knows? I guess.
What's the resources on your environment look like? It's cloud scale. It's cloud scale. It's fine.
Yes, John. There are vCenter tags on Bosch deployed objects. So before human readable VM names, sorry, you can kind of scroll your way into a Bosch deployed VM and see there might be a tag in vSphere, and it might give you like a deployment tag or what is associated with that type of thing. So, that's that. So, and Darin, I don't know if you've seen where this is a really behind the scenes tour of the Kuhn Labs data center here. Of course. So, I'm using Safari. No, it's getting all weird on me here. Okay.
By the way, thanks for using the term game changer, so I wasn't the only one, John.
Yeah. I'm so excited, right? All right. Okay. I guess I can't scale this in Safari. Like, this is what. Okay. Well, I tried to zoom in. All the icons started breaking. I could bring up a Chrome tab, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, I got some hosts and. vCenter and Safari.
And those from Apple that are listening, we are not putting down Safari.
I'm bringing up a Chrome tab because this thing, I haven't gone to vCenter and Safari in a while. I was just using Safari for my demos so I could store my passwords.
I'll say it's been a hot minute. I used to manage some environments with Safari, but
yeah, it is going really wonky in here. Like, so I'm gonna say sorry. Not sorry.
Nick is not saying that Safari is bad. He's just saying that Chrome is better.
I'm not even trying to get in the browser wars per se. I just want this one thing I'm trying to do to actually work. So how about that? Let's see what's going on in here. All right, yeah, we already got a TIA Hub VM coming in there. Yeah, so here's an example of a human readable VM name happening right here. Again, it's a TIA. It's part of Hub. Here's where it's part of, and then we'll even, for cutesiness sake, we'll even get to those tags John was mentioning here before as well. And I probably could zoom in now and actually have it paint correctly. Yes.
I was fixing to say, you're going to have to zoom in. My old eyes aren't that good.
Yeah. So we're maybe a little bit more zoom. Sorry. We need to enhance, as they say. But yeah, we got some Bosch deploy tags. So this is way back in the day. We're getting those. And now still, whoever put that back in the day, that was great. Because before there was nothing. And then we have our human readable VM name. So with these two metrics or these two bits of info, you probably get a pretty good idea what that VM is doing, what's it a part of, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of forgot why we're here. Let's see here. So we're talking about hosts. Yeah. We're gonna look at it's already ahead of time. So this is my main cluster. My hosts are well balanced. I don't know what roll up config here.
You missed your chance for your signature phrase. Anywho,
28,000 vMotions and going.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, and I've got 884 gigs free.
I think you'll be fine.
1.5 tera memory used, and then I'm a little borderline on my vSAN. vSAN's kind of angry. It's throwing an alarm right now because I'm cutting it a little close on slack space on vSAN. I've got 19.2 tera used out of 27 total tera, so it's not super happy with me there. But hey, all right, that's kind of what's going on here. And that mini swarm A2 box still hanging out there.
Nice.
I'm doing my burn-in test. So if you watched the show, if you didn't see the show last week, we're talking some newer host type of technologies and what potentially good builds for VCF9. Check that out. Mm-hmm. We had a pretty fun show on that. So. Yeah.
So while we're waiting for this to install, I saw something else. There were some Spring AI features that were coming in. I think on one of your slides. Did I see that correctly, or am I hallucinating here?
There's some spring stuff. However, if you bear with me here, I kind of want to show something.
Okay.
I'm not going to do the Gen AI stuff because I've done it a lot on the show, and there's go to the Gen AI playlist. Like we've done those demos a lot. 10.2. We'll do a dedicated show on the 10.2 on the Gen AI tile. But there was this canary deployment stuff, and Darin, I had very limited time to do that in the webinar. I kind of wanted to go back to that.
Yeah, I think we should. Because there's some really great stuff here.
Let's do that here, because that's a fun demo. There's some ASCII art involved, like this, and oh, you can't see. It's tiny. Hold on. Let me prepare. Give me a few moments here to prepare my screens again. Where are we at in time? Okay, yeah, we're kind of getting tight on time too. So this will be our last demo here. Again, we're just really kind of scratching the surface here of what's going on here with 10.2. But this is Nick. We're getting out some index.html.
You're doing that. So we had a LinkedIn user that just posted a Reddit URL. Unfortunately, the comments doesn't let us copy and paste that. Reach out to me on LinkedIn and send me that URL so that we can see what it is. We'll put that in the show notes. I'm not sure what you're showing there because we can't just click on it and see. But reach out to me, give that to us. We'll put it in the show notes so that other people can see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So LinkedIn user, you know who you are.
Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go to Apps Manager. Go to Home. All right, we're going to go into my webinar and see what happened is, if you didn't, all right, so this is a keynote here, critical ad note feature. So I was doing this demo webinar land, and I was, I've got my MCP demos, and I've got my Canary demo, and what happened, unfortunately, is that I was not aware, I did not pay attention to my org quota, and I blew up my org quota live. And I was doing a Canary deployment, and I got one Canary live, and then it was hanging, and I was like, what in the world is happening? And as soon as we got off the air, I was like, my org blew out of space. So yeah, that's what happened. If you're watch the show the last quick demo, I started a Canary deployment. We're doing instant steps. It started happening. It hung. I was still able to show the different canaries happening, but I was like, this has never happened to me before. What happened? I'm on my kind of smaller, fresh foundation where I'm testing all the latest bits. So I don't have my org quotas blowing out to 100 gig like I usually do in some of my other foundations. So I hit some quota issues. So we're going to go in here. We're actually
for the platform engineer guys out there, Cloud Foundry rigorously upholds your quotas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It said, no, you're not allowed to deploy another 6 or 7 gigs of stuff. Go home. We don't want you. That type of thing. All right. So I'm shutting off those servers because I'm going to stay in this space. I mean, I guess I could try to update the quota live here. And I you know what? 6 is a little aggressive, so I'm going to step that back a little here while we're here. So let's see where I think we're on revision 2. I think I can just do a push, or let's do a CF scale. It's going to scale down. We're going to go to 3. Apply changes because I need a little slack space in this, and I didn't plan appropriately for this to happen. So, all right, and we're gonna update my build pack. You probably can't see this. This is tiny text here. So what's happening behind the scenes here? We're gonna do Canary deployments, and what's cool, and Canary is the whole process of doing a Canary deployment is something relatively new. I think 6.0 and beyond is when it started kind of rolling out. But we can do Canary deployments with step weights where you can say, if I go to my trusty, I don't know if you can, let me zoom way in here. I'm going to pull this out. No. Try to break this out here. I've got my handy dandy notes. But what we wanted to do is that you're going to push an app, right? And then the whole concept of Canary, hey, I got a new version of the app. I want to test it, right? How do we do that, right? And in some like a past life, there are other mechanisms, like other higher level tooling built to help orchestrate this on top of Cloud Foundry because it wasn't natively in the platform where you could say, all right, we're going to do like blue green or like, revision A and B. B is the newer version. We're going to roll out B to 10% of the traffic. Or typically this might even be a blue-green deployment where you have two versions of the app, blue and green, live at the same time, and you do the vanity URL mapping between the two, and it's kind of like a hard cut over, that type of thing. But what's cool here is that it's all within the same deployment. You're pushing a new revision, and you can kind of control it from a human level intervention of, all right, let's do a canary deployment, and we're going to have that traffic splitter is just now integrated in the platform. You don't have to do that like at a higher level, like a other kind of load balancer type thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can do the traffic split, right? And then have a user validate, like either user validate or validate through your metrics. So like, all right, A, B's out, B's out, 10% traffic, 10% of traffic is assigned to B via the Go routers or whatever. You could watch your dashboards, and you would probably look for an elevated number of 500s, right? Because that's just like what happens, right? You're gonna look for like HTTP response codes, and if you start to see a big ramp of response codes, you can be like, roll 10 back because something's roll version B back because something's wrong with it, and our response code rate just went through the roof. I don't know. Maybe there's better ways of running large e-commerce applications at scale, but that's kind of what I did in the past. And yeah. Nikki, feel free to check my math if none of that vibes with you, but that's kind of the experience I had. So anywho, we have this app. I don't know. I do think I need to repush it because I'm like mid failure here, mid deploy here. So let's clear this out. We're gonna go ASCII art here.
Do love me some ASCII art.
Yeah, I thought about trying to pull a Captain Whisker Paul's ASCII art here, but I need some more time to do that.
Next time.
Yeah, next time here. So we're gonna Taz 6, right? And my index.html. So we're gonna go back in time here, and I'm gonna try to delete this inline without like blowing up my HTML. And I think I can do that. Yeah. So I'm really zoomed in here. But anyway, I'm deploying a static file index.html, and yeah. It's going to say this. I'm going to leave the header because I'm the title. I'm lazy, but really the meat of this is this ASCII art, right? So CF apps. All right, all right. 1 started. I've got manifest set to 3. Bad. I don't want that 6. I don't have enough space to toggle that. All right. So CFP.
Darin, I told you that Nick does learn from things that he's done in the past.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Although it would be hilarious if you blew out your quota again.
Yeah. 100. Ah, man. Yeah. And two, it's like it hung. I'm like, this is like the world's smallest static file. How am I hanging on this deployment? Like, the demo gods really hate me because my MCP server started to get feisty with me, and I was, my pit. Anyway, if you watch it, you get it. But all right, so we got 3. Let's see what this route says. Is it to my? All right, yay! All right, so we got some pretty cool ASCII art here. And unfortunately, if I zoom in, I lose it. But all right, this is where we can go back to the terminal, I think. And if we go back to my commands, I should be able to curl this app now, right? Let's see. Let's do a clear. And we're gonna get So we got So long story short, we're back to our state. We have a three instance app hosting this very very advanced HTML website. Circa whatever 1995 style of HTML or whatever. But
I'm definitely getting some Oregon Trail vibes.
Yeah, exactly, right. All right, so now we can do this canary deployment here, where we want to do 40% and then 60%. And since only have 3, I don't know, math is hard, but we'll see what happens. So we'll do push strategy canary, but lo and behold, I need to actually follow my script.
I was going to say, you need to modify your file.
Darin is on it, right?
Yeah.
He's here to keep my crazy brain intact. Because if I just push the same without making it without updating my app, right? So now we got our recommendation. We really need to upgrade to Tanzu Platform 10.2 because it's super cool. And I'm going to do this upgrade here, obviously, in a fun way. So now we're going to upgrade our app to 10.2. We'll see what happens here. The HTML saved, and now we can do our push canary style.
And again, so for all the guys that are listening to this audio only, this is very cool stuff. I know
Mhm.
right now you guys are sitting there looking like that, that meme where you're not sure what's going on, but he's pushing it. He changed the code. So now that ASCII art is going to read Tanzu application service 10.2, and we should be able to kind of curl it a couple times and see it flip back and forth.
Yeah. Nikki is on point of what it is. And what's cool is that this is all within the platform, and you don't have to worry about maintaining a blue-green CI/CD pipeline if you don't want to.
Hmm.
You could potentially use this. And if you were doing Canary outside the platform, you don't have to worry about that either because it's built in now. So now we get active deployment status paused. We're in it paused at 40%. So let's see what's going on. CF app hello webinar. All right, and we have 2 instances running. So we spun up another instance, and we still have our original 3. So we're now down to that up to 4, and that's why I kind of blew up my quota, because we were kind of doing a side by side, and it's not quite the full count, but it needed enough slack space to bring up some new ones and take down some old ones, and I was a bad boy and didn't give it enough more quota. So now I guess we can curl. Yeah, I don't know. Where's my curl command? That's probably the easiest. The browser doesn't show it as clean when you zoom in. So let's curl. All right. Here we go.
There it is.
So here, right. So we got 6.0. Now we're in 10.2. Pretty cool stuff here. Let's go ahead and continue the deployment. So everything's looking green. I don't have anything in my war room alerting. I didn't get a page that orders are dropping or people couldn't check out or something like that. Let's go ahead and continue this deployment. So it's gonna go to the next step. So it's gonna go from, what did I say, 40 to 60?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do that. Let's push this.
And again, for the audio guys, what Nick did is he curled this application 4 times, and what we saw is it returned back 3 times the old Tanzu application service 6.0. The 4th time we saw the 10.2. So that's showing that we've got 2 applications of different versions running at the same time, so that you can kind of measure your traffic and make sure that you're not getting anything that's outside of bounds.
Yeah. And now we've progressed, and we're basically 50-50 here, 2 and 2 on the old, 2 on the new. As I curl, I should have we'll get more 2 responses, right?
Yep.
All right. Now, somebody in the NOC says, I don't know what's happening, but the error rate now is increasing. What do we need to do? Well, we maybe need to roll that back per se or something like that. And this is another really cool feature of this Canary thing. Like we're halfway through, and let's just say, well, maybe we need to roll back, right? We can do that, right? And that's, again, this is all. There is an iterative release in 10.2. Like, I've never demoed any of this Canary stuff at all, so this is all new to me. So, and they may all be new to you too as well. So this is fun. So let's go. I have a command. I want to continue. We could, if you wanted to, you could continue and complete the deployment and see that. Let's do this. Let's look at the revision command too to see. We'll see the split of the different droplets before we roll back that. And we can see we got multiple live droplets as well. Deployed, true. So that's going on. And then another thing too, I won't show it. I mean, I guess I could, but if you wanted to, now there's even X, like there's a header you can do, and you can grab the new processes GUID. So you can grab the GUID of that new deployment revision. And if you wanted to, curl and like route traffic directly to that canary or that set of canaries. So if you really had some crazy load balancer kung fu going on, or you wanted to just like, I need to hit this and I'm gonna do this, you could do that too as well. So I mean, we got a lot of advanced options here. That's what, there's like 4 or 5 features that were on that one page that all kind of flow in this overall canary story. I think like I've been covering the Gen AI stuff a lot recently, but this whole canary deployment stuff, from an operational perspective and like a developer perspective, like this is probably one of my favorite features out of 10.2. Like,
this is awesome.
Yeah, right?
Now,
Like,
one thing for you,
yeah.
Nick, just note that I think that your curl would probably fail. You got a misspelling in there that I can see for anybody that's watching and seeing the same thing.
Oh,
the
yes.
CF process instances, not instasis.
Oh, well, yeah. I wasn't actually going to run this, but yes.
Oh, okay.
I thank you. But now we can go ahead and some of this was I was doing a dash stage where I was going to have this somewhat pre-staged in case things went sideways on me because I was doing this multiple times. But we're working the Hello webinar space. So let's say, and I do want to see like this is visible as well with an AppsMan. So let's see this. Let's see this magic happen here. If I can get back to my. We can do this too. We'll see the. If I in my full screen this works. So I spent a lot of time on this ASCII art. Not really, but yeah,
it's beautiful. Absolutely
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I need to work ASCII art more into my demos. So anyway, all right. If we go back to Canary deploy in our Hello webinar, so we went to 2 and 3. Oh, so it scaled up a little bit here. So here we are. We see the 2 revisions within Apps Manager. And that's what's going on there too. So, I think it might have just been a refresh there. So now we're down to 2 and 2. Maybe AppsMan was a little bit behind there. So we see that.
Think about the possibilities of this. This is, not only for a production deployment, but think about when you're load testing this and you've got the new version out there to be able to spin that in while you're running your load test live. To see actually as you see something. So even before you get to production, hugely valuable because this is putting a lot of power into the developer's hands rather than having to rely on a pipeline that they've got to stop, restart. They can do all this from the command line as they're going through their testing. That is powerful.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that use case. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, you could take the current existing version of prod, have that live in your load test system or your like stage or your QA foundations or whatever you're doing. Wire this up, do a Canary deployment kind of on the fly during your load test, right?
Yep.
And have that control, right? Because do a 10, 20, 30, like you could have multiple steps in here to see even at certain thresholds. Like, well, maybe revision B takes 10% or 20% of traffic. Okay, but at 40 or 50 or 40 or 40%, things get a little wonky and you need to pull that back. And that'd have been really hard to do on like a traditional deployment unless you're doing like human intervention and watching. So like, again, the possibilities here.
Even with the pipelines, because you would have to have multiple pipelines running to get that up and running. Now you can do this with a very simple command. And the fact that it holds your place, right? I'm step 1 of 2 or step 1 of 10. Being able to walk through that while you're doing your load testing, that's going to give you a real life value of what you're looking like because who knows when you're deploying this, most people are deploying this in the middle of the night when they're not getting a lot of load. Well, everything may look really good till 9 o'clock in the morning. And now you're having to roll back. You've now got exactly what's going to happen in your production under load, being able to do this all within the developer's hands, right? They're not having to involve the pipeline teams or the platform engineering teams to do this testing.
Yep. Very cool. And I think I am in the middle of a pretty extreme thunderstorm here. So I just had that big flash again. So hopefully you can still hear me. And I'm like, okay, I'm still alive. All right, carry on. But yeah,
everybody start checking out. Is it down? We'll see if Data Labs goes down.
It's like error rates from the data center have increased. So yeah, no. All right, so before everything collapses here on me, let's roll this. Let's show a rollback and then we'll close it out for the day. Or do we want to continue? Do we want to roll back or we continue? I don't know. I guess either way it kind of shows it. So
well, we're 4 minutes over, so. I think something like this may end up being another show.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Well, I'm just going to do this. All right. We'll do that in the side.
So we're taking it to 100%.
Yeah, we're saying.
Might as well.
Let's complete that upgrade here. Waiting to deploy. Why not?
I just want to see more of Nick's ASCII art.
Yeah. All right. Oh.
Yep. And we're seeing it live within AppsMan or not AppsMan, but AppsMan as we're doing this.
All right. Mostly. I think we're pretty solid on 10.2 now.
It's like we're there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, let's refresh. I know we're over. Thank you all, current watchers. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And with that, I hope you like what you see here. If you do, I'm gonna use this as a time. You should like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? And we got some memes going on here.
By the way, this is what the LinkedIn user, the guy's name is Neil. This is what he pushed out when we were talking about our browser wars. I thought this was very funny.
Yeah, I got you, brother.
I got you, brother. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah. Super, very relevant there. Thank you. And yeah, the Canary demo is legit, John. I do think so myself, and I think we have shared some past experiences, and this would have made things a lot easier. So cool here. Let's see, one more thing, but bureaucracy style here, as if you watch the software defined talk podcast, I like to do that here. We are building our Slack community, so you should join the Slack and hang out with us. I have a link here somewhere. I guess I should post it on socials. I'm a little.
Well, make sure we get it. We'll put it in the show notes as well. I'll start promoting it out on and amplifying it on social as well. But yeah, we've got the Slack channel right now. It's a little quiet. We want to get people in there and going. We want to hear ideas.
Yes.
What do y'all guys want to see?
Yeah, hear ideas. If you want to join the show, you can hang out on the show. We could have like a user community party episode. Whatever you want to do, let us know. But we're definitely building our Slack resources there, and I will find this link. It is buried somewhere in one of my presentations of today, and I'll put it in the chat again, and then I'll blast it on the social just because. Why not? And hopefully no bots get it and become silly.
We'll take the link and we'll put it in Slack. If you're not in Slack, you don't get the Slack.
Yeah, it's a chicken and the egg scenario, right?
Yeah.
But I posted again last week, although I don't know how effective the post live show link is, but I'm gonna try one more time here. We'll put it in the Slack, post a comment. All right, like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching live. Darin, thanks so much for coming on the show. I don't think we need my screen anymore. I will remove my screen.
Thanks
for our faces.
Thanks for having me on. Hopefully, hopefully there's a lot more to add in the future, more episodes ahead of us. But yeah.
I'll be the first one to say, I think we need to do a follow-up because we didn't hit all the bullet points. That
we definitely didn't hit all the bullet points. Yeah.
I mean, we just didn't even service.
I think we're just starting our 10.2 coverage, right?
Yep.
We didn't get into data. We didn't get into a lot of things. So there's a lot to uncover still.
Yeah, we can blame me for holding us up on the schema.
No, it's all good. There's a lot to unpack here, and to try to fit it all in an hour, it's just not fair. So,
just so you know, Nick, by the way, I tested it last week, and I thought maybe there would be an issue with the Slack link. The link says it's no longer active.
Oh, I made a new link.
Yeah, well, this one also says it's no longer active.
Even the one that we just tried?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be working because our guy that showed us the meme, he just joined. Neil,
did he? All right. Well, then
I made it. You're the third person
so I made
to join,
a new
man.
link today in preparation.
Got it.
If you're trying to register and you can't, you can find any of us on our social accounts. Let us know. We will get the link out. I'll get you a new link. I'm gonna try to post it on Twitter and Slack and whatever today. And hopefully it doesn't get abused. And if it does, I'll take it down and we'll make a new link. But yeah, and if you have friends, invite your friends. I know some of you all work together and watch it in certain places. Invite all your friends. It's gonna be a party in here, and we'll see what's going. And
you can hear all those things that Nick gets mad at me for saying when we're on air. I can do it.
Yeah, maybe we'll even create a Slack exclusive behind the scenes green room commentary. Because some of those are pretty hilarious. But yeah. Anyway,
we'll start a new channel. The stupid shit Nikki says.
Yeah, it'll be the top rated channel. Anywho,
all right, show the pillow, brother. We got to see the pillow.
One more time, like and subscribe. Thank you. Check us out on YouTube. I do apologize. I'm behind on the audio version, so I will get all those updated, including this one. So if you're jamming out on the podcast player, you can consume as well there. So
yeah, and be more like Neil. Neil, first guy to join the Slack channel from the podcast. Congratulations, Neil. You win. I'll reach out to you. I'll send you some stickers. You did what we asked for last show. Congratulations, bud.
And you know what? Great place to put memes and Giphies are.
That's right.
So Neil's a good dude. I know Neil. He reached out to me during the show as well. Great dude. And thanks for chiming in today. It's great.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. Make sure you look at, LinkedIn. We've got Cloud Foundry on LinkedIn. We've got cloudfoundryweekly.com where you can get all the podcast episodes. So make sure you reach out and you know how we end this thing.
Oh, but does Darin know how we end this thing?
He says he watches. He better.
I don't know that I do. I don't know that I've made
so-
it the whole way through to the very end.
This
I
is
told
this
you.
is the test. It's always the test.
I
But yeah.
join in the middle of my day where there's like
Uh-huh.
100 other meetings, and so I got to go back and watch some of the endings. Apparently,
Yeah, that's fair. But we'll typically what we do is I do a countdown, and based on one of our very first like listener subscribers, we'll do a CF by because we had a CF by in chat first episode or second episode. Nikki, I don't know
First
when we
episode.
coined this. Yeah,
he did it on the very first episode, CF by, and
Yeah.
it's been a part of the show for what 61 episodes now. So
Yeah,
That's awesome.
61 years or 61 episodes, whatever it is. But yeah, yeah. All right, so 3, 2, 1.
CF by.
Bye.